A pleasant good evening to one and all. Today, I would like to say something about the current reduction in the curriculum. The National Education Policy 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India 29th July 2020, outlines a vision of India's new education system. The new policy replaces the previous national policy on education. The policy is a comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education. The policy aims to transform India's education system by 2040. One
Please
among
switch on
them
your
is the
video, Hala.
reduction. One among them is a reduction in all the curriculum. All of us are facing through a hectic situation. These time things have changed in a flash. Delay in the academics to begin. No classes gatherings and classes have moved to online as a whole. Even though these changes are indigestible for many, moving with the trend is the only thing that works finally. As a result of all these scenarios, the syllabus have been reduced. The reduction has become a great relief to both teachers and students. But we have seen that reducing the syllabus is not a good idea. It has effect on students preparing for both competitive exams and normal exams. Students get promoted to next grade with partial knowledge and which will be reduce the brain utilization capacity of students. One of the alternative solution would be self-teaching, self-learning and alternative teaching methods. In curriculum, some topics can be segregated for self-learning, which would be helpful for the students and can be asked by them to learn by themselves. So this can also be great relief for teachers to an extent and also reduce their burden. Self-learning from a tender age will let students to be familiar with the trend. So this would be a great help for them in future. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Vanshika Tyagi, for Class 9. I would like to speak a few words on online and digital education, NEP 2020. New circumstances and realities require new initiatives. The recent rise in epidemics and pandemics necessitates that we are ready with alternative modes of quality education whenever and wherever traditional and in-person modes of education are not possible. In this regard, the National Education Policy 2020 recognizes the importance of leveraging the advantages of technology, while acknowledging its potential risks and dangers. However, the benefits of digital education cannot be leveraged unless the digital divide is eliminated through consulted efforts such as the Digital India campaign and the availability of affordable computer devices. It is important that the use of technology for online and digital education equity addresses concerns of equity. Teachers require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. It cannot be assumed that a good teacher in an online classroom. There are numerous challenges in conducting online examination at scale, including limiting, etc. Certain types of subjects, such as science classes, have limitations in the education space, which can be overcome to a partial extent with innovative measures. The emergence of digital technologies and the emerging importance of leveraging technology for teaching learning at all levels from school to higher education. This policy recommends the following key initiatives. So first one is pilot studies for online education. Appropriate agencies such as the NEPS, CIET, MIOS, IGNOU, IITs, NITs, etc. will be identified to conduct a series of pilot studies. In parallel, to evaluate the benefits of integrating education while mitigating the downsides and also to study related areas such as student device addiction, most preferred format of e-content, etc. Second, digital infrastructure. There is a need to invest in creation of open, interoperable, evolvable public digital infrastructure in the education sector that can be used by multiple platforms and point solutions to solve for India's scale, diversity, complexity, and device penetration. Third, online teaching platforms and tools. Appropriate existing e-learning platforms such as Swan, Diksha will be extended to provide teachers with a structured, user-friendly, rich set of assistive tools for monitoring progress of learners. Fourth, content creation, digital repository, and dissemination. Material repository of content, including creating of coursework, learning games, and simulation, augmented reality will be developed for raising users on effectiveness and quality. Last but not least, virtual labs. Existing e-learning ever have based. Thank you.
Okay, Vanshika, thank you for throwing light on the involvement of online and digital education in the new education policy. Now I call upon Chinmay, who will be speaking on the focus of socioeconomic development on the disadvantaged groups. What are we going to get on this topic from the national education policy? Yes, Chinmay, over to you.
Evening, everyone. I am Chennai VS. Today, I am be talking about how NEP 2020 or National Education Policy 2020 focuses on socio-economic disadvantaged groups. Education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality. While the Indian education system and successive government policies have made steady progress towards bridging genders and social category gaps in all levels of school education, large disparities still remain, especially at the secondary level, particularly for socio-economically disadvantaged groups that have been historically underrepresented in education. Socio-economically disadvantaged group or SHGs can be broadly categorized based on gender identities, socio-cultural identities, geographical identities, disabilities, and socio-economic conditions such as migrant communities, low-income households, children in vulnerable situations, victims of trafficking, orphans including child beggar in urban areas, and the urban poor. While overall enrollment in schools declined steadily from grade 1 to 12, this decline in enrollment is significantly more pronounced for many of these SHGs, with greater decline for female students within each of these SHGs, and often even steeper in higher education. A brief status overview of the SHGs. According to 2016-17 data, about 19.6% of students belong to socio scheduled caste at primary level, but this fraction falls to 17.3 at higher education. Similarly, in case of scheduled tribes, it is 10.6% to 6.8, and differently abled 1.1% to 0.25, with even greater declines for female students within each of these categories. While several programmatic interventions to uplift children from tribal communities are currently in place and will continue to be pursued, the education system must aim to benefit India's children so that loses any opportunity to learn and excel because of the circumstances of birth and or background. It is critical to achieve an inclusive and equitable society in which every citizen has the opportunity to dream, thrive, contribute to the nation. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chinmay.
Chinmay.
The
Okay.
next person can share your views on NEP.
We have Vishnupriya, who will be speaking about ensuring universal access to all and reducing the dropout rates. What is the focus of NEP on this particular topic? Yes, Vishnupriya.
Namaste everyone. It is my privilege to be present before all of you today and express my views on NEP 2020. So before I speak on my respective part, I would like to tell you the purpose served by NEP. NEP, National Education Policy, is a comprehensive framework to guide the development of education in the country. A new policy usually comes along every few decades. The latest policy, that is NEP 2020, is India's third. The 1986 NEP, which was before this NEP 2020, was brought forward by Rajiv Gandhi. It replaces the 1986 NEP, which was in place for 34 years. So let me move on to my topic. So my topic is what I believe a very important one. It's curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all levels. So one of the primary goals of the schooling system must be to ensure that children are enrolled in and attending school. Through the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, now the Samagra Shiksha and the Right to Education Act, India has made remarkable strides in the recent years, attaining near universal enrollment in elementary education. But the data on later grades indicate a severe issue on retaining children. According to the NSSO, National Sample Survey Office, the number of school children in the age group 6 to 17 years and is 3.22 crore. Also, the GER, gross enrollment ratio for grades 6 to 8, was 90.9%, while for grades 9 to 10 and 11 to 12, it was 79.3% and 56.5% respectively. This is a devastating occurrence as over 30% of students were dropping out after elementary education. It is of top priority to bring these children back into educational fold and to prevent further students from dropping out. The goal is to achieve 100% GER in preschool to secondary level by 2030. A concerted national effort must be made to ensure universal access and affordable education to all children in the country to obtain quality holistic education, including vocational education. There are two overall initiatives undertaken to bring children back and to prevent further dropping. The first is to provide effective and sufficient infrastructure, besides providing regular trained teachers at each stage and ensuring that no school remains deficient in infrastructure support. Alternative and innovative education centers will be put in place in cooperation with civil society to ensure that children who are dropping out of school due to various circumstances are brought back into mainstream education. Second would be to ensure that universal participation is achieved by carefully tracking students and their learning levels. Suitable facilitating systems shall be put in place. Counselors and well-trained social workers will travel through and engage with communities to ensure that all school-age children are attending and learning at school. Once infrastructure and participation are in place, the key to retention of students will be ensuring quality so that students do not lose interest in school. This would involve in making the curriculum more engaging and useful. Special emphasis should be given to SEDGs, socioeconomically disadvantaged groups, and requirements for schools must be made less restrictive. Ensuring the education of all children in the nation would lead to a rise in both the living standards and development of the country. It should be made certain that poverty never stands in the way of quality education. Thank you everyone for listening and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Vishnupriya. Meenakshi, please continue. As I have net issues.
Thank you, Vishnupriya. Now we have a speaker, Gauri, who is going to throw light on the new features of the policy. Gauri?
Yes, ma'am.
Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So good evening to one and all. Myself, Gauri, and I'm here to speak a few words on the new features of the NEP policy. So first, the National Education Policy 2020, which is announced by the Ministry of Education, is a welcoming opportunity for countrymen. It emphasizes on holistic multidisciplinary education for future nations' stakeholders. There are some salient features of the announced NEP apart from what is evident in its documentation and which are in perfect harmony with government's previous initiatives since 2014. Some of these are self-reliant India. First objective of the NEP is to implement various or strong solutions to its own problems that are in harmony with different initiatives of Government of India. The advantage of this feature is that it helps the youth to find employment through a self-sustained and skill-based model. Sustainable Development Goals. UN defined 17 Sustainable Development Goals as primarily education as self-defined tool. The intention is to prepare the students think and adopt an eco-friendly lifestyle. Third, education as economic booster. The main aim of this feature is to create a platform for talented and skilled youth who aspire to build the nation and boost national economy. Fourth, internationalization on higher education. It targets on creating India as a knowledge hub, attracting foreign nationals and to promote research collaboration through organized efforts. 5. A layered accreditation system. The layered accreditation system will differentiate between a granting stand-alone college and a wholesome university. Accreditation should be able to set standards in quality of infrastructure, faculty, and research facilities. Last, equipping teachers with latest digital technology and education methodology. This feature aims at training the teachers in digital technology and methodology with the help of national agencies worldwide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gauri, for your presentation. Now we have the last speaker for today, I guess, Rukma. She has the topic Foundation, Literacy and Numeracy. She'll be throwing light on that. Rukma, are you there?
Thank you, ma'am. So, before beginning, let me share my screen with you. So, good evening to one and all. Today, we all are discussing about National Education Policy 2020 Foundation, and my topic is Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. So, before going to my topic, let me give you a brief about the National Education Policy introduced by our central government. The National Education Policy 2020, which has approved by the Union Cabinet of India and on 29 July 2020, outlines the vision of India's new education system. The new policy replaces the previous national policy on education on 1986. So, now about the foundational literacy and numeracy. The World Bank terms the phenomenon of being unable to read and understand a simple text by the age of 10 as learning poverty. Children who are not able to read by the age of 10 usually find it challenging to grasp the ability to read in later years of their schooling. Without foundational learning, children often fail to flourish in their later years as they don't acquire the required human capital needed to empower them in their careers. Various governmental and non-governmental surveys has often indicated a precarious state of a learning crisis in India. I got from the NEP a large proportion of students currently in elementary school, estimated to be over 5 crore, have not attained foundational literacy and numeracy. That is, the ability to read and comprehend basic text and the ability to carry out basic addition and subtraction with numerals. The National Achievement Survey (NAS) states students across 12 states scored significantly below the national average in mathematics ability. NAS identifies learning as a big challenge facing Indian education. The new few years are critical as India could lose 10 crore or more students from the learning system to the fold of illiteracy unless proper action is not taken soon. Now, about the future course of action. One of the fundamental principles of NEP is, according to the highest priority to achieving foundational literacy and numeracy by all students by grade 3, which we are committed to achieving by 2025. To translate this particular vision of NEP under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, a national initiative for proficiency in reading with understanding and numeracy, Bharat will be launched. This mission will cover the learning needs of nearly 5 crore children in the age group of 3 to 11 years. A nationwide exercise to identify the learning gaps, its probable reasons and various strategies, keeping in view local circumstances and diversity of the country will be initiated. The national mission will develop a simple and common understanding of learning outcomes and align the efforts of the education ecosystem. The mission's progress will be measured based on children attaining the grade level competencies. And hereafter, the Ministry of Education will be focusing on reading, writing, speaking, counting, arithmetics, and mathematical thinking throughout preparatory and middle school. And this is what the Ministry of India, the Education Ministry of India states. Achieve universal foundational literacy and numeracy in primary school by 2025. A pupil-teacher ratio (PTR) of under 30:1 will be ensured. In each school, increased focus on reading, writing, speaking, counting, arithmetic, and mathematical thinking. A national repository of high-quality resources will be made available on Diksha. So, let us all hope that the newly introduced National Educational Policy 2020 will take our country to the top of the world in terms of literacy. So, thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Rukma. Any other speakers here? Veena ma'am?
Good afternoon, everybody. Um, I heard three students have been today's National Education Day, the birthday of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. I just wanted to congratulate all of you. And one more thing which I wanted to pass it to on to you, a message, children. These are all opportunities which children have to use it. With children, those who use it will be beneficial. Those who use it will have naturally the benefit of being in part of this, and those who are not, those who are trying to move away from these opportunities and to hearing to the great personalities which you are going to which you are hearing now also and going to hear from different webinars, will be naturally beneficial for you. So please also understand that opportunity never comes again. We have many of opportunities coming on the Children's Day also, Children's Day. So take take this as a challenge and try to improve whenever you get an opportunity. Try to hear to the great people who talk to you. Last day when I was talking about the fest, I was in the group and I could hear Gigi Thompson, I could hear Gopinath IPS, I could hear Hemendran IPS, who have all succeeded in their life, the great people who are governed the country. So such type of talk, such type of outlooks which you have to hear will naturally will benefit you a lot. So please understand that this is the one which we are looking for you to build you. It is not for teachers, it is not for me, it is not for school, it is for you. So take it, those who have presented today within a short time, as per the directions of the CBSE board also. I congratulate all of you and wishing you all the best. See you in some other programs or see you for a Google Meet. I'll talk to you, all of you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Beena, Vijaya, Meenakshi, Lakshmi, and all the teachers who have taken the initiative, Manjusha, Rekha, all those who have taken the initiative for today. So you will have wonderful Children's Day celebration. So be ready. All of you must join. Because we will be putting a Google form at the end asking you to answer the 5 or 6 questions after that Children's Day celebration. And we will be within 5 minutes, you have to submit by the time the program comes into the end. So, so this is why, so we'll be able to judge who was the person who was keenly listening to it. Thank you so much. All the best. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, sorry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let me welcome Jaishankar Salim for the vote of thanks.
Namaste to everyone. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God. First and foremost, I thank our most respected principal, Dr. Deepa Chandran, for her continuous support, vision, and commitment. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I thank our principal Manjusha ma'am
Thank you,
and Vice
Jaishankar.
Principal Rega ma'am for their unstinted support. My heartfelt thanks to all teachers for their kind cooperation and continuous support. Now, I thank you all my friends for your cooperation. Great dreams of great dreamers are always transcended. Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Jai Hind.